Hello guys, welcome back to another video, to another Swahili language diary video. This time I'm actually gonna report from mid-month, which is like new for me. So there's been loads of problems with the supplement. Obviously, as you guys know, I've been using Duolingo as a supplement for the majority of since and up until like a week and a half ago. I've been using Duolingo. And it's been going pretty well. Like it's not bad, but I did reach a point, and I think I mentioned this in the last video, where I just felt like I reached the peak to which it can like keep up with what I'm doing with the content. Do you know what I mean? So it became too easy. It was reinforcing things that were just basically a bit too easy. So I was looking into using flashcards, using Anki, and so that's basically what I've been experimenting with now. With each one of the lessons that I do, I make a deck for it and I add it to the overall Swahili deck. And then I kind of just go through that. So I've been playing around with the settings a lot, and I've been trying to get it so that I have so right now I'm on 25 new cards a day, but I haven't done that yet. Yesterday I did like 20 new cards a day, and that's basically what I've been doing. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's actually being useful. Like when I do the flashcards, because it's so directly tied to the content that I'm doing, I'm able to move new words to known faster. And when I'm passively listening, I can pick it up and I can almost remember the fact that, oh yeah, that was in the flashcard, like I remembered it. So my whole perception on using flashcards has kind of changed, because I see it as a really, really powerful supplement right now. But obviously I haven't been using it for that long. I've only been using it for a week, but I can see that it only works if I do it consistently, because I need to review the words that I learnt. So, and of course it's at spaced repetition intervals. So I just need to kind of use it for another month or two or three as a supplement based on the content that I'm doing. But you know what? I thought for this week, I want to try to get the Swahili trophy for Duolingo, and I'm going to film me doing that right now. And if I don't manage to get the trophy, I'll just keep redoing it until I get the trophy. And that's the only engagement I'm going to do from now on with Duolingo, and that'll be it forever. Because I need something I need like a confirmation. Okay, guys, so here we are. Let's go. So as you can see, like I left it when I had done 2 levels, which is actually quite a lot. I think that was more than the Spanish. Let me see where I was in Spanish. Yeah, I only did 1 level of Spanish, because Spanish had the stories, and the stories were so good. So that's what I use. I think I did like a story a day. I remember was doing like a wave kind of thing, and I didn't make it. So which animals are loved? Wanyama wepi wanapendwa. Huja normally comes. He comes. No, I didn't know that. Which tree will you climb? I don't know if you guys heard that, but I heard it. Amefurahi sana nilipo zungumza na yeye. Okay, he was happy when I spoke to him. He was very happy when I talked with him. Really? Okay, guys, we'll try this. We'll try this again in like a week or two. This is going to be the vibe from now on. I just wanted to note that there's still some things that I don't understand, of course. But for example, this one. Can you see this word right here? Ina vyo haribika. So this vyo in the middle here, I don't really know what it's about, and I don't know why it's there. And I just don't know. I think it means how, but I'm trying to like pay a bit more attention to it just so I can know like within context how it's used. Okay guys, I also wanted to comment on the passive listening, because that's changed a little bit as well. So as you guys know, like I told you, with the content that I'm using, I listen to the same stuff. So the conversations that I'm using, I listen to those passively as well. And I'm trying to push myself to do that as much as possible, because as I keep repeating, Swahili, there's a limited amount of content with text and audio. So I want to make the most out of it. So in my supplement, I'm flashcarding these conversations. I'm studying them in my active. And then I'm also passively listening to them. But however, what the problem is right now is that I found a show that it doesn't have subtitles, and there's almost no like content that I found on YouTube that has subtitles, other than Easy Swahili, who started who've started their thing. They've started their videos, which is really good. Like it's really good to see that Easy Swahili are like on it. So if they're watching this, please help us out. Help us Swahili learners out. But yeah, so what I'm doing, so I found this show and I'm watching it a little bit, and I'm enjoying it. Now, how much can I understand? Also, I'm listening to like, what's it called? To a podcast. Some parts I understand pretty well. Like I can understand I can follow the conversation along. Obviously not every single word, and obviously I don't catch everything, but enough to know who said what, which is quite cool. Like the fact that I can actually follow a conversation. I remember there was this one interview speaking about young people in, I think it was Kenya, and trying to get trying to get into journalism, and he was talking about like if it's a risky career and things like that. And so I understood quite a bit of that one, but then obviously I go to the TV show, and then like I some parts I don't understand at all. So it's all hit and miss. Just even if I can understand 30 to 40%, like that's enough for me to like get excited about the fact. So I keep watching it. I'm also trying something new with the way I go through the content. So before I used to read it first and then listen and read at the same time. That took a lot of time. But right now what I'm doing is I'm listening and reading to it at the same time. And I'm still trying to like think about what would be best. When I listen and read to it at the same time, the thing that happens is that I feel like I'm much more focused, you know what I mean? Because I have to follow it along as it's going. Because when I read it, I'm not as focused because, you know, if I don't understand something, I can just I have more time, right? So I'm experimenting with that. Also, just something else to know about the content right now is that the content that I'm using, I feel like I'm going through it much faster, and this is something that I didn't consider at the start, and I almost never do, because I'm always like, okay, I had 135 Swahili conversations when I started, right? So I said, okay, if I do 2 conversations a day in X amount, I'll be able to do X amount. You know, just like a general like, oh, this would be cool if this happened. But something I didn't consider was the fact that actually like I go faster because obviously I'm improving more words, more like becoming more comfortable with the language itself. I didn't take that part into consideration. So for example, I remember when I first started, I was doing an hour. Now what I do is I have like half an hour, 35 minutes, and what happens is I do 6 dialogues in that 1 35-minute session because I'm reading and listening to it and I don't go through it again. So the technique changed, but also I'm going through like the conversations faster without the need to kind of pause and like think as much. And that's something I didn't take into account at the start. I didn't take into account the fact that actually I'm going to be improving as I do it, and therefore I'll be able to do more faster. So yeah, like maybe by the time this video is out, I actually have finished the Swahili conversations. I don't know if I mentioned that I do this before, but like if there's a grammar point that I'm like struggling with, like a construction that I'm struggling with, or a word that I don't really get how it's used, basically I make a phrase out of it. So what I do is say, for example, I don't know, like this, for example, if I didn't know how nilikuwa, because that's like I was, I am going. So I was, I am going. But it basically means I was going. But like say I didn't know this, I'd put this there and then I'd click on it. So then now it's saved as a thing, and then hopefully when I get back to doing flashcards, or if I find a way to do it, I'll be able to review so that I'm exposed to the structures that I find really difficult again and again and again. But we'll see how that works. Hey guys, I just wanted to comment on how flashcards are going because I kind of been stopping them for the past 2-3 days, and the reason for that is because I realized that like when I see a word, I like the efficiency of the cards is not really high, and the reason is because there's no audio and there's no example sentences. So like the word, it's just very out of context, and I feel like I see the same word like 20 times before I move it to like before I say like before it goes, you know. So that's basically what I'm struggling with right now. So my problem really is just the site that I'm using. When I export it into Anki, the front card has the Swahili, the back of the card just has the definitions/definitions in English, but there's no example sentences. But there are example sentences, I just can't put them on the cards. And I've been trying to play around with the settings so that now I have the front Swahili and in the back I have the example sentence in Swahili, but not the definition of the card. Which is fine if I had like an add-on that allowed me to like just highlight a word and see its definition. I want to use flashcards because I know I know that it could be a really, really good supplement to kind of not let me just kind of forget the words that I won't see again enough to memorize throughout the journey, if that makes sense. Because there's words that, okay, I don't know this lesson, but 5 lessons in the future, I've seen them 20 times, that's it, that word is known. And that's how I that's what I did with Spanish, right? The spaced repetition was in the content itself. But of course there's words that have less frequency, that have less frequency that pop up. And those are the words that I think the flashcards get for you. And just kind of accelerate the process because you get to move cards to known at a faster rate. Okay guys, so rounding up the 4 weeks. So generally in terms of the active study, I started off at the hour that I've been usually doing, and then slowly it's been going from an hour to more 30 minutes, 35 minutes around there, just because I've been busy with other things. And I think it's going to continue like this for the foreseeable future. In terms of passive, I've been okay with passive. I want to do better, to be honest with you. I feel like there's more opportunities for me to use passive time and I'm not doing it. So hopefully that's like something that I can work on for next week. In terms of my plans for content, I think I'm in conversations 112 or something like that, and there's 135 conversations, so I have around 20 left. That's a pretty good position to be in, I think. They're starting to make more and more sense. Every single conversation I use has around 10 to 20, 25% unknown words, which is actually lower than what I'd want to, but I want to make the most out of these conversations. So I think I'll be finishing those. After that, I'll show you like how I go through and try to find resources. But I have one that I think is going to be the one. I'll show you guys as I do that. In terms of the supplement, so as you guys know, it's been a bit of a struggle these 4 weeks to try to find a good supplement. Anki, if someone can help me because they said that I've emailed them and then they've said that they have three things. They have the English, the Swahili, and then the example sentence. But I can't get it into a card where the English is at the front and then the example sentence and the translation's at the back. Do you know what I mean? So that's basically what I'm trying to do right now. If anyone can help me do that, the website's language tools, I'll put it in the description below. Because I think if I could do that, I would definitely have that as a supplement. But over the last week, I've pretty much had no supplement. I've literally just been using the conversations, which has been okay. But one of the things that I liked about supplement, one of the reasons I have a supplement in my system is because just to give me something different to do. I love going through the content, I love going through the conversations, but obviously if I'm doing just that, then it can get a bit like repetitive. That's why I always like doing the Duolingo on the side. So that's I'm missing that kind of just different, like a different interface, a different thing. In terms of passive, I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between native content and listening to the conversations. And I want to push myself more to just use the conversations or whatever I'm going to use next. So basically I'm listening passively to what I'm actively studying. Which right now I like when I listen to native content, like native podcasts, which I've been listening to quite a lot over the last week, I understand enough so that like it's good enough for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like 40%. In some I can understand much more, but only for like maybe 4 or 5 minutes of it, which feels pretty good. But of course the majority of it is. I want to make the most out of the content that I have. So passively listening to it while actively studying it, there's going to be more context, right? Like if I studied 4 conversations and I passively listen to those 4 conversations, I already know what they were about. I understand them better. The comprehensibility is more. I understand the conversation. I enjoy the conversations more because I understand them more, but I enjoy the native level material more because the content's a bit more interesting. So counting the times, last 4 weeks I had 93 hours and 40 minutes of active study. This month I've added on 13 hours and 42 minutes, making it 96 hours and 56 minutes, almost 100. I'm happy with that, but of course I don't remember how much I added. Oh no, it's been a decrease from last time, which is expected because again, I think this is where it's going to kind of stay from now on, maybe even a bit less. From the passive though, it was 68 hours and 30 minutes, and now I've added on 21 hours and 37 minutes, making it 90.7, which is quite a big increase from last month where I only had 11 hours. So I did 9 hours more of passive, and I think I can do more. Something else I want to show you guys. Where is it? I made a pretty decent investment, and I think I'm going to add this to the total for the money because I've been counting the money. So that was like, I think £4 from Teach Yourself, and now £30 I think for these earphones, but they're like wireless earphones, and it's such a good investment. It's just made passive listening so much more fun, so much easier to do, and I think the less resistance you have for this kind of stuff, like the easier you make your language learning journey, the better it is, basically. Okay, so that wraps up this 4 weeks. I definitely feel like I'm understanding more. Like, of course, the conversations, less word count. When I passively listen now to native content, I can understand it enough to understand what they're talking about. I definitely feel like I'm accumulating more and more. Actually, the word count, I didn't actually talk about the word count. Okay, so my word count last time, I can see here, is 2,121. And this time, it's 5,797. So I don't know what that increase is, I'll put it somewhere. But that's quite a lot. And I kind of expected this, and I think this period is a time where I just like a mass accumulation of words. And I do think the fact that there's a couple of noun classes in Swahili do make it a bit more inflated. Like there's more versions. I haven't really thought about it that much, but I would assume so. But of course, it's just an indicator anyway. I'm getting more and more familiar with the structures. I'm not actively thinking about anything really. I'm just trying to understand like what's going on, and I'm enjoying it, man. Like honestly, Swahili is really really fun. It's a really nice language. I really like the way it sounds, the rhythms of it. The more I listen to native content, the more I get that side of it, right? Like the natural rhythms of way of speaking a bit more. So yeah, that's everything for this 4 weeks. Anyone who knows about the Yankee thing, please help me out. Please, please. Yeah. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.